like to call to order the November 6, 2019 meeting of the Clearwater Downtown Development Board. I'd like to begin by having our board members introduce themselves and our ex officio member, beginning on my left.
Ray Casano.
Lena Teixeira.
Paris Morphopoulos.
Venkat Devaneni.
David Albrin, ex officio.
Great. Okay, we're looking for a motion to approve the October 2019 Downtown Development Board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Very good. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, item number 3. Citizens to be heard regarding items not on the agenda. I'd like to invite any citizens that wish to speak to come to the microphone, state your name for the record, and keep your comments to 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Mark Bunker. A recent Tampa Bay Times article revealed how Scientology used shell companies and vast amounts of cash to quietly purchase essentially every available downtown business. The next day, the people of Clearwater were alarmed, uncomfortable, and somewhat concerned about how Scientology hand-delivered virtually every resident a copy of the group's Freedom magazine, individually specifying the resident of the home. Inside, there was a cover story explaining the real reason why downtown Clearwater is dead. Turns out, it's the Tampa Bay Times. Now, nobody outside Scientology believes that story to be true. The magazine laments about what could have been with a thriving downtown. We finally got to see how David Miscavige was personally going to revitalize the downtown by bringing in a theater chain, stores, restaurants, and he was going to pay for everything because he was dedicated to creating a vibrant, thriving downtown. Well, what's stopping him now? I mean, he basically owns the bulk of downtown. Even the Tampa Bay Times couldn't get in his way now. If he really wants a vibrant downtown, he can do it. But I believe Miscavige prefers to keep the downtown quiet, acting as a buffer to keep people away from Scientology. Regardless, Clearwater has to take action. At a minimum, we need to start finding owners who leave their buildings unoccupied or vacant. If you buy a building downtown, open a business, hire some workers, contribute to the city's economy. But more than that, if Scientology's leadership is going to continue negatively impacting the downtown, we have no choice but to challenge Scientology's tax-exempt status. It wouldn't be the first challenge or the first time that it was revoked. Scientology existed for 40 years without a full exemption. If they lose it, they'll survive. And the downtown will have a chance to thrive. And I want to be clear, individual Scientologists are good people, smart, dedicated. They truly believe they're saving the planet. But the organization instills the message that the most important thing is to keep Scientology working. And that's how they split up families with disconnection, how they send Sea Org members to the Rehabilitation Project Force, a virtual prison camp for something as simple as making a joke. They don't deserve to be tax exempt, and we can do something about that, and we must.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4, new business items. First of all, are there any other citizens that wish to address the board?
My name is William Neubauer. That's my wife, Jeanette. I own property in downtown. I was handed this L. Hubbard Freedom by one of your board members. I think I was put here. I remember not being here there, so I'm not against Scientology. I remember being circumcised. I remember coming through the birth canal. I remember being where I wasn't, but I was patient. But maybe I was put here for this reason right now, to talk to you about what's going to happen. He has a quote, Mr. Hubbard, and this quote right there in the middle on page 87, he uses the word magical 3 times within a little paragraph. So it goes, the day when you stop building your own environment, comma, when you stop building your own surroundings, comma, when you stop waving a magic hand and gracing everything around you with magic and beauty, things cease to be magical. Things cease to be beautiful. My concern is he used magic, magical, and you're naming Coachman Commons. A dud. Don't be stupid. A dud. Don't be stupid. Call it Coachman's Magical Mystery. Magical. People will not come to Commons. They don't care about common people. There's not a person in this book who is a common person. This book is filled with people who, everybody's unique. Everybody's unique. I am unique. But I'm unique. I'm definitely not much unique. Not too much uniqueness. So Ron L. Hubbard will get his name up there. But why can't the citizens? Why can't? Maybe I was put here for a reason, to stop the Commons. Coachman Commons. That's not gonna. Coachman Magical Mystery. Bands will come. Bands will know what that means. I went to the flea market and I bought, something came to me one morning, and it says, buy the Beatles for the grandchildren. Well, I bought the Beatles. I bought CDs, two for $7. They love Penny Lane. They love the Beatles. Beatles are making a comeback. They loved it. Everybody, the Beatles are never will buy. You say what you're going to say.
Just have to say that
You're going to say, stand up and say it.
music is magical, and that's what the park is there for music.
You say it again.
And it's magical.
Say it again.
Music is magical.
What's magical?
Music.
Music is magical? Why? Why is musical magical?
Excuse me?
I don't understand. I'm done?
You-
My 3 minutes are done?
No, you're not done, but you're the one that has the chair. If anyone else was just to speak.
No,
they
no,
would
no,
come
no,
up.
I just wanted to come.
Yeah, okay.
That's my wife, and what, I'm out of here?
Yep.
My time is up.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, next bill. Commons. It's a dud. It's disaster. It's stupid. If you want to be, it's magical. Disney named his, he had a mouse. He had a mouse. What he called it? I'm going to call it the Magic Kingdom.
Thank
End
you.
of story. Around the world, people come to Magic Kingdom. Not only here, Japan, all around. And Scientology, people will come to see what's the mission. They don't know what Scientology is.
Thank
I'm telling
you.
you, it's a draw.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to new business items. I'm looking for a motion to adopt the September 2019 financial statement for filing.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Very good. Do we have any discussion? Okay, did you have something you wanted to?
Nope, I am here solely as the PowerPoint mover for tonight.
Okay.
We did want to let you know, as we have been every month, that your fiscal year closed right on September 30th, and basically the funds that we had carried over were $84,188. So your cash in bank as of September 30th is that $306,879. You require a minimum reserves of $75,000. So essentially, the difference there between the 306 and the 75 is what you have available to reallocate through a budget amendment moving forward. So as new projects are coming up and we're adjusting expenses, whatnot, just know that we have that additional funding that can be assigned to a project or a line item.
Correct me if I'm not understanding what you just said, but, so the 306 minus the 75 is about 230,000 roughly?
That is correct.
And you're saying we have 230,000 that's unallocated in the budget?
That is correct.
Okay, good, that's what I thought you said.
I'm not quite sure if this is a good time, or maybe a segue, or maybe put a pin in it. But talking about next year's budget, we've been discussing, and I actually approached the subject with Rosemary present and several other people from the city. It's become blatantly clear that the merchants on their own have not come to us for further funding for small events. And when they have, they've actually rescinded. So
What does that mean?
from what I understand directly from them, they're not equipped in terms of resources, time, expertise, or knowledge. And I agree that we don't have the proper tools to effectively do events to the degree that is needed. And it's been so evident in September and October when two events that we so depended on because of rain or circumstances didn't work, it hit us hard. So I approached the subject with the merchants last night, how they would feel, and I actually started the conversation with Capitol Theater to perhaps refocus our funding to partners that are successful in creating events. Maybe just add 2 more Blast Fridays and reallocate the funds to Capitol Theater as our partner so that we don't have to wait for those 6 months, because that's 6 very dry months. Maybe they can start the Blast Fridays in October or September, October versus waiting for December. So I've already initiated that discussion. This is something that the merchants have fully admitted, and myself especially, that, maybe 6 out of 10 times, if not 7, my events are not as successful as they should be. I don't have the resources or the tools or the time, but Capitol Theater has proven over and over again that they're effective, and their return on investment is incredible, and they know what they're doing. So perhaps instead of allocating these funds and no one stepping forward, then just perhaps think for the future to just redirect some of the funds to partners that have proven to have a great ROI.
Interesting.
Can we start that conversation? I don't know how about to go, but I thought this is a great segue.
Well, it's next year, so why would we could handle it next year with the new board?
Well, I think.
Why not?
I
Why
mean,
not
you're
talk
welcome-
now?
You're
Why?
welcome to bring up items now. What I would recommend is
Yeah.
closing out this vote on this item and then starting a new discussion about this item that you've just brought up.
Right, because I think from what I understand, Daffodil came and then rescinded, and then now the spa came and rescinded. So this is all requests that are being actually, discussed, and then they are rescinded. So there's all these monies that are not being used, and they're being carried over.
But interesting, and it's worthy of discussion. I think for now, let's stick to the agenda, and then where would be an appropriate place to bring this up in the final comments? We can have a discussion. We don't have very many agenda items today.
No, that's why I thought I could stretch it.
So we can have longer final comments with some discussion. So we'll come back to it then. Okay, so we're looking for any more discussion on the financial statement. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, now we have a presentation on Light Up Clearwater, Downtown Comes Alive. Eleanor. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having us be able to share our exciting information on lighting up downtown Clearwater.
Could I interrupt you? Could you identify
sorry.
yourself just for the benefit of people that don't know who you are?
I'm Eleanor Lyda. I live at 1221 Drew Street here in Clearwater.
Very good.
So, we've been working on this kind of off and on for quite a while, but probably since March, we really have focused on it. We've met with Amanda several times and trying to figure out if we were all on the same page. And so finally, she had mentioned that we needed to get the support of the major stakeholders in Clearwater. So the first meeting in October for the Merchants Association and the Clearwater Downtown Partnership, we presented it to them, and they all thought it was wonderful. I also called Amanda over at the Beach Chamber. She said she knew about the trees. I was surprised, but she said she had talked to Lena, and she knew about it, and she said, definitely, I think it's great. We support you. And then I said I'd send her a copy of the presentation, and now I'm here to ask y'all's support. So, are you ready? Let's light up Clearwater, and downtown will come alive. First of all, 5 years ago, the ULI recommended lighting up downtown. Oh, why would we want to do that? What would we light up? Who would be at benefit for this? And how could we do it? Okay. Why would we want to do it? Okay, number one, the 500, 600, and 700 blocks of downtown other than when the Capitol Theater has an event. It's a ghost town. When the CDP was doing Fourth Friday, Jay will remember, we used to call the 600 block the dead zone. If we light up downtown, it will attract visitors to come down and explore downtown. We can beautify the streetscape that we already have. It's beautiful now, and it's very mature, so it's really lovely. But it doesn't have the wow factor because it's quiet, it's, dead at night. It would currently help the merchants. If we can get more feet on the street, the merchants who are struggling, it will help them if the downtown's beautifully lit up. It'll attract new downtown merchants and restaurants. We have a lot of empty storefronts. I believe that if we can light up the downtown and have it look beautiful, you're going to attract more people to open businesses and fill up those storefronts. Okay, steps already taken to imagine Clearwater. Demolish Harborview, which we've done. And that's when I got to thinking, this is a time to really get serious about lighting up the trees. So moving forward to light up the bridge, Michael Delk's going to do that. It's going to be fabulous. So the people from the beach are going to come across the bridge, and as you crest the top of the bridge, you look down at Clearwater, and really all you see is the Capitol Theater. It's really dark. So I think that will really help. They'll look down and see all this glow and say, wow, what's going on in downtown Clearwater? This will really be cool. Let's go down and see. I mentioned Michael Delk with the bridge. That's really going to be nice. And then moving forward, revamping Coachman Park. What we do was we would put the lighted trees going down the street all the way to the bluff. And in talking to the CDP at that meeting, Chuck, who is with Clearwater Gas, he suggested it would be a wonderful idea to have something going on in downtown Clearwater while they're working on Imagine Clearwater, because, the park's going to be destroyed, and this would be something that people know we're really, trying to make Clearwater more exciting. Okay? Now, what would it take to light up downtown? We would light up the trees on the 500, 600, and 700 blocks. There are 21 trees on the 500, 600, and 700 blocks. So we would put lights on those trees. That is one idea. The second idea would be to put the base lighting up, so you would have lighting go up into the foliage, and that's very, very pretty. It's very subtle, but I don't think it's going to get people downtown. Now, lighting up the trees with the little twinkle lights over at Dunedin is very pretty, and it's magical. But in talking to the man that designed Dunedin, he said that he could only give us a 3-year guarantee for those lights. It wouldn't be maintenance free at all. And he also said that there are a lot of squirrels in the park, and they were playing havoc on the trees. So I said, oh, don't worry, there are no squirrels in downtown Clearwater. And then 2 days later, I drove down Clearwater and 2 squirrels ran in front of me. So now, we found out about this other fabulous thing, and that's what we want to share with you tonight. It is really exciting. We've done a little bit of research on it, well, a lot of research on it. We shared it with Amanda. It blew her away. And I'm going to ask Janelle to come up now and tell you about it, because I want to spend most of our time with Janelle.
Okay.
Janelle? Now, you all know Janelle, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I'll introduce myself. Hello,
Okay, now if you
everyone.
can go to this one here.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah,
Janelle
just
Brand,
go through this
711
real quick.
South Lincoln Avenue, Clearwater, Florida. So Eleanor gave a beautiful introduction to everything that we've been working on over the past couple of months, with the support of the CRA and actually taking the objectives of the CRA to bridge a connection between technology and art in the downtown. Essentially, we went on this little journey to find sophisticated art that was engaging and immersive and had a lasting experience on visitors and residents. So Anne, would you please go to our first video? I'm going to show a very short video and explain, oops.
Get this mouse working.
Sure. So the video you're about to see essentially is an installation that was done in Mexico City. The goal was actually to raise awareness for habitat destruction that was hafpening there and deforestation. So if anyone could, Take a second. This is all being done with projection. It's called 3D projection, or they just take maps of these to bring them to life. So in this case, they focus on animals. The animals actually engage with the viewer because they do move and they play. You good?
Yeah, I'm just turning it down so they can hear you.
All right. So I'd like to say that we've gone into an experience economy. You know, we've basically shifted through different industries where tech has driven economic growth, or whereas industries or even agriculture has driven economic growth. I think as a millennial, what I want to do and where I want to spend my money is on something that I can remember, something that I can bring my family back to several years from now. And I truly believe that light has this impact to really stimulate us, to shift our moods and alter that. In the workplace, by the way, I do work at the Ring Workspaces, we've used lighting to offset our members' moods. Simple things like the color temperature can make you more productive or less productive. It can increase your mental acuity. And I believe the same is true for seeing beautiful installations in our downtown, where members can pass by, our residents can pass by, and remember seeing essentially an owl in the tree, or in this case, an elephant, or iguana, as this one shows. So we're going to go to video number 2.
So, can I interrupt for just a second? The music was so loud, so I want to make sure that everybody understands. This is individual mapping of individual trees and adapting the image to the tree. Because you were drowned out a little bit. I just want to make sure that everybody understood that.
Thank you.
So that's not projection, that's lights?
This is actually all projection,
It's
but
projection.
essentially it's a form of light, so yeah, that
Okay,
laser.
so it's
beam.
projection, it's not
It's
light
projection.
bulbs in the trees? Right,
You
okay,
got it.
good.
So it's actually very sustainable, it's very eco-friendly because it's not doing any damage to the trees. A lot of the research we've seen, as long as you string the trees properly, they will allow for growth. A lot of the issues that I've seen across Miami, actually Dunedin, Sarasota, is that when they bind these trees along the branches, it cuts into the tree branch. So it's not actually the safest thing to do or the most eco-friendly thing to do. The next video you're about to see is actually in Chicago. So their bicentennial celebration was last year, and they used the same technology to, well, there we go, Barack Obama, I think, essentially to call attention to notable figures who have come from Chicago. Here's a city that's working with essentially graphic designers, big technology firms to create some beautiful installations. That one was pretty quick. In order to create an overall experience. They've gone further, as far as I know, to have a permanent installation and to really push the scope and what they're doing with lighting and projection. I believe it's called Art Mart, where they've done 2.5 acres of just projection on a building. So essentially, honing it down to Clearwater, we talk about a vibrant city, we talk about an engaging, playful city where entertainment can hopefully draw more attention to this beautiful area. And I think with Eleanor's help, this is one of the ways we can do so.
Very good.
We have some still ones. You want to show those other pictures?
Yeah, sure.
See, I'm here just to show PowerPoints.
This is just some pictures I found on the internet, and I believe this is in Cambodia.
Yes.
They have faces in the trees. Now, the wonderful thing about this is, every time I mention it to anyone, nobody knows about it. It's a secret. They look at me like, what are you talking about? So this would be something nobody has. Disney has it, but Chicago,
Chicago.
that's
So-
it.
Disney did an installation on their Tree of Life. The Tree of Life was basically created back
Go
in
to the next
1998. Speaking about a magical experience.
Oh, here's the Tree of Life
There's
before
the Tree of Life.
the lights were put on the tree.
Yes. So they've basically started projecting on the tree to, pay homage to Bambi or to Snow White, some of our favorite childhood movies. And people travel from around the world to see this installation, and it's one tree, literally for a couple hours, in Animal Kingdom. There's nothing stopping us from basically doing the same thing here. I'd like to point out, by the way, in terms of fostering community growth, Eleanor and I cannot be more demographically different. But we have a shared vision and a common goal, and this is the result of what could happen. We can create beautiful things if we really do come together and foster our skills and essentially minds.
I have a question. This is very interesting. Is this I'm wondering at what stage of planning and development you're at? Are you proposing the concept to us, or do you have an actual proposal for us
We
today?
do not have a proposal. This would be to garner your support and to see if there is an appetite for this type of installation in downtown. We all want to be as efficient and time conscious as possible. So if we realize that the leaders of our community does not like this, move on to the next best thing.
I got it, okay.
All right.
And a follow-up question. Do you have any ideas that you can communicate to us on where do you anticipate, projecting these? Do you have any sites identified in your?
Yeah, I didn't really go through that because I wanted y'all to hear Janelle, but in downtown, there's the median or the streetscape, and those are the trees, the 21 trees we're talking about. You could do, not all 21, you could do, half that many, and then take little baby steps. You can remap the trees at Christmas time, and put all this wonderful thing, Santa Claus in a sleigh driving around. You could even maybe have somebody like the aquarium, say, sponsor a tree. You could have Winter and Hope and the turtles flying around in the trees. There's just no end to what you can dream up because it's all put on a disc, right?
Yeah.
And you can swap it out.
It's very
I like it.
interesting. It's very interesting. It's very creative.
Yes, very beautiful.
All right.
So basically, I just wanted to let you know the people that support the project, and we're just here asking for your support so Amanda can go forward. And I have to say, after all this, when I first took this to a couple of the DDB the first time, and the Merchants Association, Amanda saw the vision right away.
Yes.
So I was thrilled about that, and then Janelle jumped in and Lena helped me, and here we are tonight.
Okay. Does the board have any comments or any feedback?
I like it myself.
I just have a comment.
Mhm.
I really like the statement, light up downtown. I think we should use light up downtown more. I personally think that this is a good initiative. I saw this kind of a laser lighting in Stone Mountain in Georgia. It's not exactly on the trees, it's on the mountain, but I think this is a really cool concept.
Thank you.
Thank you.
David?
I love it. I think this will do very well with the plans we have for Imagine Clearwater and the bridge lighting. The idea is to get this whole area looking bright, and that's going to really attract people down to see it. So, yeah, I'm all on board. I think it's a good thing.
Great. Jay?
To be the first in the Tampa Bay area to have this technology would be making a statement. So I'd be interested in the cost, because I'm assuming that cost would be much greater than the first two options. So, but there may be involvement from not just DDB, CRA, City Council. So I think it's worth pursuing 100% the 3D mapping.
Anyone else?
Well, and again, this is why in our conversations, absolutely, I love all these options, and I'm a huge fan of projection mapping. It's a really powerful way to experience, visuals, and truly immersive. You're going to get a little taste test of it in this holiday extravaganza. We have some responsive lighting that we'll be doing in Station Square Park and down where Harborview used to be. But what I asked is, there's a lot of competing priorities in downtown. We know that, right? And a lot of people with a lot of really good ideas. So my request was, let's make sure we're all on the same page, that we're all excited about this so we can move forward. And then the CRA and I will be, in our November meeting, we'll be discussing this idea again with the CRA trustees that, we'll spend our time to get costs for each of the options and figure out what it would mean, what it could look like, how quickly it could happen, and get the details, right, of what that cost could be and figure out the right partnerships. But, this is absolutely something that, the state would approve CRA funds being spent on. This is streetscape, infrastructure, right, and lighting. So, and I also think we do have to be cognizant, Assistant City Manager Michael Delk and I are always thinking about what are we doing during construction, right? This is what I lay awake at night thinking, okay, when the park is under construction, right, how are we still going to attract people downtown? How are we going to support our merchants? And this would definitely be one way. This is something that you can do for free, right? And you can come back over and over again if we have it designed correctly. So.
Go ahead.
Yes, so of course, this is something I'm very excited about for so many reasons, but this to me is the epitome of what I've been rah-rahing about for over a year and a half. And this is a group of women, right, I mean, I even had a joke, 3 generations, right? And it took an idea from one, the technology savvy and entrepreneurialism of Janelle, and the connections, and this is exactly what I was talking about, people getting together and actually putting action into their passion. And what they came up with is exceptional, and I'll tell you why. It is cohesive with our direction, which is a tech versus meeting the arts. So it's supporting what we're gearing for. Number 2, it's refreshing to be a leader instead of always following behind. And that is going to put us on the map, and that's what is going to work. We're challenged, we're going to need better than so-and-so has it. No, we want to be the first. And also, very important, it is a versatile living thing that we can change. It's eco-friendly, and it's something that we can sustain the interest by constantly changing it. So this is like, moment. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I was just going to say I was going to add one thing. I don't know if the concept includes a constant picture or a changing image or colors changing or anything like that. I was thinking if the plan includes that, it might be a good idea to run it past the traffic and sign people and so on to see if we're violating any kind of ordinance
Oh, yes,
by doing
we'll
that.
deal with all that.
Because there are always those issues that come up on what colors you can have and can they change and so on.
And I completely agree with you, and that's why I figured some that blend a little bit more with nature. If you realize the 2 that we focused on, the one in Chicago and the one in Mexico, it blends in with the trees. And there were people passing by, there were cars driving by. It was in Mexico City. The other image, basically, of the Cambodian gods, I think that was the other one. That one was done in a more secluded area by a gentleman named Clement, I believe. And yeah, that was done for a specific event, but essentially has garnered, I guess, a lot of attention. So I don't think it'll be, because it's green and white, it's not too colorful. I think when there's an event, that is the opportunity where we can interject other colors and other movements and things that are not as subtly moving. But this is one of those things you stop by, it's like, did that just wink at me,
Right, very good. Well, thank you. I think you can tell that we have a consensus of interest.
Absolutely.
I think we had another comment.
Yeah, just a follow-up question. Did you say 7, 6, and 500 blocks? Which blocks are being currently proposed?
So
Okay.
I think, Eleanor, we're proposing 5, 6,
Because I was hoping the 700 block.
Well, I went down recently, like a lot of times at night, and I didn't think the 400 block was important because we have all the restaurants down there and it's pretty brightly lit. And of course, the Capitol Theater always has the lights on. But then there's 4 trees on that block. You could just get by with lighting up 2, or even just 1.
Well, and then there may be an opportunity for a combination of, because when we first talked about this, and I had mentioned it to Amanda, the further east we go is going to be a good thing. So maybe it's a combination of the 3 technologies that would be the most durable, so that we would have additional lighting. And going east of the 700 block, there's going to be the East Gateway. So I don't know where you stop, where you start, but thinking bigger is better. And then if within the budget, and if you have partnerships 3 different ways, maybe you can split those costs to be able to do as much as possible with a combination of all 3 technologies.
But we were kind of thinking and just concentrate with the trees,
Yeah.
with the, decorations in the 4, 5, and 600 and 700 blocks, and then going on towards Martin Luther King. I did have a gentleman come out to give us a quote on the ground lighting, and I counted all the trees in front of the Nolan, which is really dark, scary. And you wouldn't have to do every tree with the ground lighting. It would be very pretty coming into downtown to have the ground lighting shining up on the palm trees and the trees, and then they have like 7 or 8 palm trees that are low. You could just have a low light on each one of those palm trees. It would be very pretty. And it would be leading up to the wow factor.
Great.
I have one more comment to make before I let you go, and that is when you mentioned Clearwater Gas, it put a thought in my mind that if we're going to do any tearing up of infrastructure to put cabling in and so on, we should think about what would it take at the same time as we're doing that for Clearwater Gas to run gas lines, to have gas lights. Like, would it be a significant extra cost? It's very attractive to have gas lighting. It's expensive to just do it as a separate project. But if you're tearing up, down a path, down a right-of-way anyway,
That's interesting, yeah.
that's a good time to put some gas lines through. And then we could have, even if we didn't do it at the same time, if we had just the pipes down there, that would be
That's a
great.
good idea. Very good idea.
So,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you very much. I
All right.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, we had a gentleman that wanted to make a comment, but we're not voting on this, so we don't actually have.
I would like a motion.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait, she hasn't finished, sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So because Eleanor stated that we actually went to the different boards looking for support, we were also asking them to write a letter of a support. I mean, Amanda's right here, but this is what she asked, so that we were indeed cohesive and that we were on the same page, basically saying, hey, let's move forward with this project so that she can then take it to council and to her staff, so that they can work on it. So I'm asking that the board actually write a letter of support. And
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we write a letter of support.
Second.
Okay. Well, in that case, we have a motion before the board, so we will entertain a citizen comment if you wanted to make one, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, did you want to make a comment? You're good. Okay, great. Bill?
Good evening, DDV members, council members, Paul Glaze at All Britain, Amanda. My name is Bill Sturtevant, 3082 Landmark Boulevard. Come here.
Oh, no.
Come here. I'd like to just give you all a quick history lesson. It won't take long. 2008. Incidentally, this is my kid sister.
I pay him $20 to say that. It's very important to know he's
Just
older
sister.
than I am.
She called me back in 2008 and said, Billy, I just went to St. Pete.
Oh, I forgot about that.
And you know what they do there? I said, I have no idea. She said, they have something called First Friday. At that time, I was with the Downtown Partnership. She was on the board, as was Jay. David was, and you know a whole lot of them. And she said, we can do that. I said, give me a break, we can't do that. Well, we did. We put together a small group within the board, and we kicked it off in '09 with Miracle on Cleveland Street. And as you know, it morphed into Glass Friday. You guys supported it. We thank you over and over again, along with the CRA. Thank you. The original Miracle on Cleveland Street had snow and ice. Really, biggest like. Where do you think that came from?
Well, I didn't go to one meeting, and I was new, and I don't think some of those people like me anyway. So they said, oh, Eleanor, by the way, you're in charge of the snow. So I said, okay, and I thought about it, and then I went back and I said, well, give me a clue how I'm gonna get the snow. And they said, well, they have a toboggan in front of the hockey place, and they'll know how to get the snow. So I called up there, and they sent me to Jacksonville? Gainesville. And luckily, that guy that owns the company answered the phone. And I said, well, I'm just calling, got this crazy question. Well, he loved the idea. So we got the toboggan. And then Carla Jo, who was on the board then, she said, we're going to call it Miracle on Cleveland Street. It's snowing on Cleveland Street.
So anyways, she absolutely loves downtown. She's relentless with all the merchants. They love her. And she called me back about a year and a half ago and said, we need to light up downtown as per the Urban Land Institute report. And I said, yeah, well, I'm sure we can, Eleanor. And so she, a few weeks ago, by months, and she said, call me. And I said, how'd it go? She said, well, they didn't like it. I said, don't worry about it, just keep going. And so she, as you all know, she called on everybody she could imagine. Incidentally, she put together this wonderful PowerPoint with the help of my wife, Beverly. She's the brain, I'm sorry. So, years and years ago, they invented the term no-brainer. Folks, this is a no-brainer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
We put snow on the trees.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this is very heartening. This is what volunteerism brings to our downtown. Okay, let's move on.
You need to vote.
Oh, yes, we're at the point of voting on this motion we have before us. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. So will you draft the letter for us?
Yes.
Great,
I will.
thank you. So let's move on to old business. We're at 5.1 DDB work plan updates.
Yes, Rosemary Demore is here to give us an update on two DDB projects, DDB CRA projects.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rosemary. I'm with the CRA. And speaking of art and technology, I have a project update for you all on the augmented reality project that we're working on with USF. So a reminder of the project scope here. We have $25,000 for a mixed reality installation in downtown Clearwater. Augmented and virtual reality will bring the Comunidad mural on the Garden Avenue garage to life. And partnering again with USF's Access 3D Lab for the Paint the Town project. The project will include the digital 3D scan of the Comunidad mural and the surrounding streetscape, 2 augmented reality interactive features, which include audio, video, and an educational slide and an AR enhanced map, VR video and text interactivity, user interaction data, so we'll be able to see who's using this app and who's actually interacting with the space. And then also an educational outreach component to the project. So we can gain some community buy-in and build some momentum for this project, which we hope will be the first of many type of augmented reality projects in downtown. And speaking of being the first, we are the first city in the area to do something like this, so we're pretty excited about that. So some new info that we have we just received all of our printed collateral for this project, posters that'll go up all throughout downtown. We'd appreciate your help in spreading the word. Brochures that we're going to be passing out to rec centers and community centers in the area. And our webpage is live, which I will try to bring you to now if this will work. Let's see. Sure. Okay, so you can check out the scope of the project here on our site, get an interview with Laura Harrison. She's actually the director of USF's Access 3D Lab, and it walks you through the project itself and a little bit behind the scenes of how we did the scanning project in August. It was a very hot day in a parking lot in August in Florida. Some different information about the phases of the project. We have an option here to actually collect people's emails so they can receive updates from us regularly on the status of the project, and also for that public engagement component to invite them to corresponding meetings that we'll have about this project. And some background on how the mural was painted as well. So it has some information on our artists, and then a little bit more information on what exactly we're talking about when we say mixed reality, augmented reality, and so on. Because this, again, educational component to this is incredibly important. There's a digital literacy kind of gap with folks. What is augmented reality? What is virtual reality? And this can kind of help give a primer for folks to see what they're going to be experiencing. So the public engagement events will start in January, and we'll be launching the app in the spring. Obviously, we'll keep you informed when we have new designs in. They've done a storyboarding of what the actual AR interactivity is going to look like, which is pretty exciting. The mural is 6 women across the garage, and their hands will separate, they'll dance, they'll interact with the viewers a little bit. It'll be pretty fun. And so back to this.
So Rosemary, before you move on, we do want to thank Janelle and Daniel Zieka, because we are using their parking lot every time we go in there, scan the mural, and people look at it. And for 2 more long-term goals, I know that we've talked about having partnerships with colleges, right, and universities, and trying to get that downtown. And this is one way that we start to develop those conversations and find out how do we move that kind of coursework, how do we get more students into downtown. So it might not seem like a typical way that you would start to set up an extension campus or something like that, but this is how these relationships and connections start. And the last thing I'll say is the activation that we're looking at with the redoing of the waterfront. You have to start training people, right? So you experience this through your smartphone, right? You'll hold up your smartphone and you'll see all these different AR components, and when people go into the new park, there will be all sorts of lighting activation they'll be able to manipulate through their phone, right? There'll be different components. So again, as it's being constructed, we want to start training people as they come to visit downtown how they're going to engage with these new kinds of arts experiences.
Yes, And so in my meeting with USF this week, had some really great feedback from the students at USF about this project. Laura Harrison, again, the director of the Access 3D Lab, has been pitching this to our students, and they're very excited about this as an opportunity. They haven't seen anything like this and want to come to downtown to experience this when it's launched. And they're actually planning a field trip out here to kind of see the space and see what it was like to actually do the scanning. And we had some students participate in the scanning in August as well, which was really exciting. And we hope that this can be the groundwork for further research, things like that, we can work with USF in the future. So if you have any questions on that, I have some brochures to pass out for you guys at the end, which you can help us spread the word. But if any questions about this project, if not, I'll move on.
So it'll be spring that we can see this in action?
Yeah, we'll have some previews that we can showcase earlier, and so I'll either send those around via email or present them here to you. But we'll actually launch the app and have a much larger event around that launch in the spring, and hopefully when it's a little bit more tolerable.
Anyone have any comments or questions? Okay, you can move on.
Great. So, second project. All right. So, an update on the short film video project. As you will recall, the Clearwater Arts Alliance, DDB, and the Community Redevelopment Agency partnered to find new voices in the Clearwater community to share authentic stories of downtown through short films. We asked for short videos up to 60 seconds that feature the unique sights, sounds, and locations of downtown using uncommon and inventive perspectives. The entries that we received were judged by a panel of filmmakers, artists, community members, and downtown business owners. And the finalists that we identified will be used in an upcoming social media campaign about downtown Clearwater. And the finalists and winners will also be featured on downtownclearwater.com and on the Clearwater Arts Alliance webpage as well. We had a great event this past Saturday with our finalists and announced our winners. We had about 40 folks at Second Century Studios, and thank you to Lena and Caitlin for attending this weekend. And I'd like to show you the final videos, our 5 finalists and our 3 winners that we have. Coming in first place was Deanna Diaz for the Downtown Shuffle, is what her video is called. Second place is F. Dondi Gutierrez, whose video is titled Bright and Beautiful. And third place is Kevin Nodland. And we also had 2 other finalists who received honorable mentions because the votes were really close from our judges here, because we got some pretty high quality things. And our honorable mentions were Stephanie Hurst and Jonah Mohajeri. And I'll share these videos with you now, and that's the order that you'll see them in, is through.
Welcome to Clearwater, Florida. Explore the beautiful hidden pearl of the Tampa Bay area. Experience the art and finesse of our beloved downtown. Venture through a wide variety of restaurants, bars, and entertainment. Stroll through the area on wide open sidewalks, or enjoy one of our many local events. Tour through the city on the historic Jolly Trolley, or bask in one of our award-winning sunsets. Downtown Clearwater.
So you can see we had 5 really distinctive perspectives there. We had folks using drones, we had folks using their cell phones, we had folks using professional video cameras. So we're really pleased with the results that we got through this. And we will roll these out. It's not a short game here. We're going to be rolling these out consistently, and I'm actually really confident and really comfortable with sharing these, I think, in any format and via in any public event that we have, any meetings that we have. I think that this was a really great success in terms of this project. So I'd love to hear your feedback, or if you have any questions about this.
You do?
Yeah. I just wanted to, I know that we had a decision about $5,000 was for the awards and then $20,000 was for the promotional. Can you describe to us some of the tools you're using, or I guess platforms that you're using for the promoting of these videos?
Sure, yeah, so the fact that they're all 60 seconds and under is great for us to use on social media, right? So we'll be running these on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and via email, our 4 main platforms will be pushing this out. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter will have paid content paid dollars going behind boosting this to folks. So again, this doesn't have to be something that we do in 1 week. This is something that we can kind of resurface periodically, use it as a way to kind of get more interest in other events that we have happening in downtown. We can also translate these and have them running before Jazz Holiday next year, for instance, or any other public events before Blast Friday event. So I think it'll be a variety of platforms, but predominantly on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and then our email campaign. It'll come from the CRA, it'll come from the City of Clearwater's sites as well, and it'll also come from the Clearwater Arts Alliance. So we're also reaching, I think, a varied group of folks through those 3 folks as well.
Is TV being entertained at all, or is it just social media?
Just social media, but I mean, we can talk about doing something on TV or advertisements through TV with this. We'd have to tweak the videos a little bit, and so work with the artists to make that happen, but it's something that we can look into, yeah.
I think the idea that we as a board had to have this happen using innovative young new videographers rather than a big established company has paid off handsomely, and
I agree.
we ended up with some very creative stuff
Yeah.
that highlights the downtown.
Yes.
Makes us look good.
Yeah,
So,
and helping build that network as well. I think it's really important now. We have a great new pool of folks that we can work with in the future, and I think who are also advocates for downtown as a result of this campaign as well.
yeah, so I'd like to commend you on handling it as well as you
Very
have.
nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Our winner was on Broadway. I don't know
Yes,
if
our
you can
winning
tell.
video, she was a Broadway dancer and actress,
Really?
so it's
Wow.
pretty exciting.
Oh, good for her.
And she was downtown for several days. several days,
I
dancing in the
saw her
street.
and I was there. I was
Yeah.
thinking, what was she doing on the street?
Well, they're very creative, and the artists should be commended, all of them. A job very well done.
Congratulations to them all, very excited.
Mhm.
Okay, so because there will be numerous public meetings for the 30% drawings for the Imagine Clearwater redevelopment, we are going to move the December DDB meeting to December 11th. So you can all attend the Imagine Clearwater public meetings and give your feedback. And then also we wanted to nail down a date for those of you who wanted to attend a special work session to drill into the details of the ordinance and bylaws.
So that would be the special session.
Right,
is
so the
on
four
one of those
options
dates.
above, right, so there's December 9th, anytime between 8 AM to 5 PM, not the whole day, because I like you.
Mhm. Now, if the meeting is being moved to December 11th, then it would start at 5:30, the DDB meeting?
So option 4 is off then.
Or it would go from 4
Correct, we'd
till
either
5:30?
move it to later, we'd either shorten the work session or we'll start the DDB meeting 30 minutes later.
Mhm.
You want to knock it all out in one day?
I think December 9th in the late afternoon is my preferred option for the workshop.
Are we voting now?
Well, we're just trying to get an idea of.
I'm just trying to save
who even
emails. If
is
you know right
planning
now
to
there's
go.
an option that's more preferable to you, then we can set that.
9th is good with me.
9th's good for me too.
Okay.
That's a Monday, right?
Yeah.
So
December,
Does 3 to 5 work? Amanda, that works for you, right? Yeah.
I'm flexible.
You're very flexible.
Yeah.
Monday works for me, 3 to 5.
Okay, so let's go with that.
great,
And our regular meeting on the 11th at 5:30.
That's
correct.
right.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Okay, and where are we now? Are we on CRA updates?
So for CRA updates, most of our updates are contained in the chair's announcements in terms of events and everything with holiday extravaganza. Also, I did want to let people know that the mayor did submit a letter to the editor, the Tampa Bay Times, that was published on Sunday. It's kind of buried
Yeah, I can find it.
underneath the memorial, the letter about the memorial, group of 12. I don't remember exactly the title of it. So if you look under letters to the editor on the Sunday edition, it is there. That essentially just, we want to remind the community that we are invested in downtown, we will continue to invest in downtown, and that the government's role is precisely what you're seeing here, right? Civic engagement, building amazing public spaces, and continuing to support the development of existing businesses and new businesses in downtown, and we will continue to do so. So we don't want anyone to think that that has changed.
Excellent. Okay, let's move on to the chairman's report. November 1st through the 22nd, we have the Urban Congas Playable Cities exhibition at Second Century Studios. Thursdays through Sundays from 12 to 6 p.m. November 9th and 14th, enjoy a playable scavenger hunt through downtown Clearwater with the Urban Conga. Meet at Second Century Studios, 331 Cleveland Street, on November 9th from 1 to 2 p.m. and November 14th from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. And all of these are also on downtownclearwater.com for more details if I'm going too quickly for you. November 22nd, City Change through Pay Panel. Not sure what that means. Can somebody elaborate on that?
City change through PayPal?
City Change through Pay Panel.
Oh.
Not PayPal.
Microsoft Word, operator error, through play.
Through Play at Second Century Studios at 6 p.m. Okay, so there's an event there. You can read up at the website. November 2nd, second annual Veterans Half Marathon, start and stop at Coachman Park. November 11th, the city offices will be closed in observance of Veterans Day. November 28th and 29th, the city offices will be closed in observance of Thanksgiving. November 30th is the CRA's holiday extravaganza season, the start of that season, which goes on into December, well into December. November 30th to December 1st, very exciting news, the world's largest food truck rally is taking place in Coachman Park. We're expecting a couple hundred food trucks.
Well, at least 150.
Wow.
So there'll be lots of variety and choices of food. For more information or more events, go to downtownclearwater.com. And with that, we'll go to our final comments. Board members on my left.
Well, I like the idea of the lighting. Thank you very much, by the way. I can actually vision, you know, like a snowman running down the trees. People in Vegas, when they did that down there on the street thing, they wait for that to come on every night. So I'm seeing a lot of bodies coming downtown just to watch it, so thank you so much.
You know?
So of course, I'm gonna be very excited about that. You know, I've been listening to Eleanor for a long time talking about this idea, and it was such a relief to get Janelle's help because of her tool set. It's incredible. So she kind of helped propel it. So I'm very excited about that. This is what excites me. You know, people engaging and sharing their talents and their passion. I do have one request because I think next month is my last month.
Mhm.
Can I have a presentation on the wayfinding signs? I feel like I need to leave with some accomplishment. I've been complaining about parking for the whole time I'm here. If we can have a presentation on the wayfinding,
Sure.
I could feel like I've accomplished something in the 2 years I've been here.
A presentation from the
We have some
department?
updates
Yes.
from wayfinding, right? We have new signage and new proposals and stuff. I'd like to hear that before I
We
leave.
do. The county just approved the sign for the pedestrian overpass on 19, and with that approval, we can hire construction firm now.
Okay.
Cool. Very good. Thank you.
No boring statements for me, just 3 comments. Light up the trees, light up downtown, and more YouTube videos about Clearwater downtown. That's it.
All said. Caitlin?
I just wanted to echo the comments we've already made in terms of the promotional videos. The event was fantastic, well done, everyone who was involved. That the videos are fantastic, thank you to the artists, and that really kind of inspired me and gave me hope for what's going forward, as well as our presentation and our hope for lighting up downtown. So thank you.
Great. Jay?
Thank you. The wow factor for Coachman Park is yet to be determined which one and how many are going to be wow factors. I consider the entertainment venue a huge wow factor. The bridge will be a wow factor. You go to Las Vegas and you don't go to Las Vegas without going to Bellagio. The wow factor would be done now for downtown Clearwater. People will come just to see that until we get the vacant storefronts filled. So it's a great project. Eleanor and Janelle, thank you very much. And you're right, Eleanor, when I first heard about it, when you first mentioned it to me, and then even Janelle mentioned it to me after 3D mapping, I had no idea it was projection of lights and images on trees, but it's pretty exciting. Thank you.
Very good. David?
Well, I'll just say the same thing that everybody's been saying. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's always a great thing, and it's not your first time. I mean, Eleanor's been here for a decade, helping downtown and coming up with ideas. And, you know, it's great to have that, to have people coming in and sharing things, and you all are on board with it, which is great. I see this as really another foot coming down forward. I mean, we have entertainment down there now. This would be another way to bring people down, and it really goes hand in hand on what we're planning to do with the park and the bridge. So I think we complete the circle. I'm glad we're thinking about doing it.
Maybe a marquee for the Capitol Theater will complete the circle.
That ordinance coming forward soon.
Yes.
I got the update. Thank you. I was not successful. You are with this one, so that's coming forward in the next month or so, very soon.
Yeah.
Okay, my final comment is 2 points. One is, I think I can speak on behalf of the board when I say I'm very grateful for the kind of volunteers that we have with examples like Bill and Eleanor and Janelle. And I'd encourage others in the community to follow their example and step forward to do the similar kind of thing. It's very, very valuable and very needed and wanted. Secondly, I would say that, again, on the videos, I think we can't emphasize it enough that we scored a very successful result here. We shouldn't overlook it. For a very low cost, we got some very attractive videos made. And with the same pool of money, we now have a substantial amount to promote downtown with those videos. So I think it was very brilliantly executed. So, and with that, that's my final comment. It's not 4:36. At 6:34 in the evening, this meeting is adjourned.
The sad